suicidal if
Yes.
they didn't get transition.
Is it
Yes.
actually a known disease though? Is it a known
Now
disease?
now, how would this machine read the child's brain
It
waves
doesn't
if
matter. It
they
just works.
had No, it does matter
No,
because
it
I'm
doesn't matter. It just works.
no,
It's my
no,
hypothetical.
no, 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 no,
You are not allowed to
it
change the
matters.
parameters of my hypothetical.
It matters because I'm adding you wanted me to be involved in your hypothetical. I'm being involved in your hypothetical.
No,
I'm
you're
adding to
changing
your
it to a different one.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not. Hypotheticals are allowed to change. We
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah.
So
yes. Yeah, but no, engage
I'm
with
asking
mine.
you a question.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
asking you a
Answer
question.
mine, and then I'll answer yours
No, I'm simply asking you a question.
without answering
So
mine.
so how do we know that this machine would be able to tell from children's 5 to 11 whether they have gender dysphoria?
It's magic.
Yeah, no, see, that's why this is exactly why I was
like,
not
Okay,
answering
okay.
your
So can I add? Can I
It-
actually add upon that, Rin? I actually
Sure, go
will.
ahead.
Okay. So what is the actual thing in the kid's mind? Now let's actually talk about. What's
Okay,
it like?
my hypothetical is we have a machine
Mm-hmm.
that right, and this machine can 100% determine if someone has gender dysphoria.
Okay. Okay. If they have gender dysphoria, is there actual
And
medication for it
yes,
by any chance?
and the only way to and it's also proven
Mm-hmm.
100% no without a doubt that the only option to keep them from trying to kill themselves is to transition them. That's the
there,
only
there,
option.
That's the
there
only
is
option.
Yes.
I would literally
there,
try literally as much as I can. That's all I say, as much as I can to do it. But if that's my very, very last option to keep my kid alive, it will have to be pushed through. But
I
I
didn't say it
will
was
try
the last.
very
I said it
hard.
was the only.
It's the only option, but I will try my
he
best.
said it was the only option.
I know, I will still try at least.
No. But what was your answer? Like, what would you have to do if you have no
Mm,
choice?
If I have no choice, then obviously I would go for it. But
Yeah, because see,
I
And
would
choice for what?
because he was not giving me an option. But
yeah,
really, but if I would try before I was try to give it.
Dee was asking if there was any medication, but Rin was just like,
Like,
no, it's
no,
the
obviously,
only
No,
option.
yeah, no,
we're
I
already
know.
we're already past all the medications, other options. This is
Okay,
it.
No, 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 no.
I would try
That's
first. Let me say,
oh
I'll
my
just say I
god.
would try first, and I'll give it afterwards.
This is like an arachno question.
It is.
See, he's
Yeah,
denying it, but he's trying
I'm
so
not
hard to
denying
make you know it.
anything. No, because my problem then
I just would never
was
let them have it.
the refusal to
freedom.
engage in the hypothetical. Because if you remember back then, in the same circumstances, you were just saying, "Oh no, they're like you're not engaging." You're saying like, "No, there has to be something else. There's another thing," or you're changing the
Yes,
hypothetical.
because
No, that's not the hypothetical that I'm setting. Because in that
which
situation where
isn't
you asked her,
right.
is there a situation in which she would go ahead and be okay with transitioning a child, and she comes up with a hypothetical in which she would be okay with transitioning a child, and then you're like, oh, that's horrible. Why would you do that? It's just like
now
you
think
ask,
about it. Is my kid
yeah,
okay with that? By the way, is my kid would my kid be okay with it? Just to make sure, because just because they're the ones that act suicidal and everything, but is that their way to change it?
ooh, okay. So since you already answered my first question, I'm more willing to entertain any additional changes to it.
Mhm.
We'll say yes.
Okay, then
You're
then
acting so much like her right now. I hate it.
like I said, I would try. Like I said, I'll give in obviously, but I would try it first, obviously.
Okay, and
And
now
I'll
what if
give
they
it
weren't?
afterwards. If they weren't, I would.
Same scenario. They will always try to kill themselves unless they transition, but they don't want to. Then what?
That's kind of been very hard to be honest on that one. That's actually really hard. But at the same time, I would still try to obviously. I feel like either way, what if I keep trying? Would that change my kid's mind?
But what are you trying? Is what I'm trying to understand.
Well, whatever. I don't know. There's no medication that would suck, and if that's the only way, by that moment, do you want my kid to have the right to go kill himself? Is what you're implying? If he doesn't want to change his mind, I don't want to forcefully just give
If
him the
that's what
will
it sounds like
to
I'm implying,
change.
that was unintentional.
That's where you're implying right now, Rin. Literally,
Yeah.
I'm trying. Literally, I'm gonna try to like. If I can't change my kid's mind to transition, what am I supposed to do, really? And
I
I'm gonna
wasn't
forcibly
implied.
change
I
him.
wasn't trying to give the implication. I was just going the exact
But
like the opposite. Like, oh, if they were okay with it, yeah. Well, what if they weren't?
yeah,
Just going the opposite.
yeah, I know. If they weren't, that's kind of
But now
harder
that
in
I
my
think, yeah,
opinion.
when I think about it, yeah, that does sound like you're,
It's
you seem
forcibly
like,
you're
yeah,
forcing
you're
them by that
condemning your child
moment.
to that. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's I don't want that for my child to
And then
go
it's
through.
like, do you do it against their will or not?
Yeah, exactly. I know they're still 5 to 11, but they're still freaking human beings. I like they're at, I don't know, like they're, I would say if they're on the spectrum on the older side, like for instance, if they're like about 8 to 11, they
My,
can possibly think of a possible choice maybe, but you would try
yeah.
to convince them otherwise. You would try to
But
convince
there
them.
has been studies that during the transition of a child, that transition, right? Because I remember Ragno had mentioned that no one is medically transitioning under the age of 16, but that's not true. There are
There are
well,
some.
there
Oh
are some.
well,
Wait, hold up. There was that video from YouTube that was sent to me by these viewers, and they mentioned something about detransitioning, and I sent this to both Gemini and Rin. Now, in the video itself, they were asked like, "Did you have suicidal tendencies and gender dysphoria before the transition?" And interesting enough, they said no. They have it more now after they transitioned.
Oh yeah, I will say that person didn't actually have it, and they were a false positive. That would be the likely scenario.
What?
Okay, so would you agree then that sometimes parents take it into their own hands to transition their child?
Yeah.
well, in the situation, everyone knows D Wade, right? Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
Yes, from Miami Heat.
Yes, I know
He's
who he
retired.
is.
He's a retired. Well, his daughter is a transgender, and she's under 16 when it happened. So she was, I believe, she says she was 15 during that time. So
So again, that goes along with, well, actually, that's what the viewer wanted to counter argue with Arachno on, because there are people that don't experience what Arachno was highlighting as the 1%.
Yeah. You do not have to have gender dysphoria to transition the way things are now. No.
Right now,
Yeah, yeah.
there's obvious health hazards and dangers when you do. Is what they were trying to counter argue with Arachno. I know
Yeah.
Arachno is not
And
here, but
Arachno wouldn't deny that.
yeah,
I'm not gonna defend her.
but I think what they were saying is
I mean,
it,
we did ask her, is she in favor of medically transitioning kids, and she said no.
No, but her hypothetical was
Or
in
hypothetical
the
implies that she's in favor.
very extreme 1%.
Less than
uh,
1% even.
okay. So let me. I'll iterate what the viewers were saying to me. They were saying that they feel that Arachno was trying to create and forcibly create her own narrative.
I don't
In,
think so.
And
in what
I
they
can
say.
see that from their point
I
of view.
actually agree with Gemini and the viewers. I actually feel like Arachno was forming her own narrative.
I don't think so, because you guys did ask it in a very ask questions in a very loaded way.
Oh,
Okay, so how would you repurpose the question in a way that it wouldn't be?
Which specific question are we talking about? The one just now, or
The one that you believe that we were asking a loaded question.
because okay, like I believe it's a very yeah, I think it's a loaded question when you ask, well, is there a situation where you would be? And then any answer she gives, of course, it feels like that's a loaded question because any answer she gives besides rejecting it would be abhorrent to you.
is that what you were
Like,
trying to do with us right now?
kind of, yeah. Like for example, like outside of like not using transitioning, but like, hey DJ, is there an extreme situation where you would murder 1 million people?
Depends. Who are the people we're talking about?
well, well,
You know what? Falcon answered that for me. I'm more amused by that.
yeah. To be honest, yeah,
Is it
that
like a
kind
group
of
of
that
moral
is that's
enemies?
the being question,
Is it like,
literally.
I already answered the question. No.
So there, under no circumstance, in any case, in any hypothetical, would you ever murder 1 million people?
You're not saying what kind of people.
I didn't. Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
It depends on the person.
Well, okay.
Okay.
So
So, alright.
wait. I didn't get to answer that yet. So let me just answer it. No, I wouldn't kill hundreds of people.
Well, in
Alright.
this situation, 1 million people in Rin's situation.
Well, the question was,
You
and no,
only said 100 million people.
yeah, I
So
asked,
if
is there
it's
any
people,
situation in which you would murder 100 million people?
Oh, you said 100 million people. I thought you said
Yeah,
100.
is there any
No, I thought
situation
the
in which you
million.
would murder 100 million people?
Okay, so it's
yeah,
100
no.
Maybe if there's
Okay.
an evil alternate reality version of me, maybe.
Oh, that's horrible. Why would you say that? You see what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to entertain what Ren is saying
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. That's like that's what
That
it felt like.
that's not what we did to Addie, no.
Yeah, no.
That's not.
Like like backing what Gemini is saying. That's not what we were doing to Addie.
Well, that's what it felt like.
Well, that's what it felt
Wait,
like to
to
do,
you?
but like everyone else didn't feel that way.
It kind of look like that by function.
That's not what we did to Addie. The question was very simple. She was distracted playing a video game, playing Valorant, which is again
Which
why I
is a good
feel
game.
while
Was
when
she
we're
playing Valorant
having
with Flynn at the time?
yes,
Yeah.
she
Yeah, she
was.
was.
Okay.
That's why I felt like she was half
Oh
paying
yeah,
attention. And she first thought the question was about teenagers. Then when she heard that it was five to
Ren, a
11
viewer just
years
said
old.
that it was a very simple question to you, and Arachno don't get why it's being misconstrued.
wait,
Now,
wait. The question of, is there ever a circumstance if because if you're asking the question, is there ever a circumstance where you would do a thing? And I can
No,
think of a
no,
circumstance where I would
that's
I
do a
think the
thing.
question. I
no, no,
think
no,
you're
no, no,
going.
no. Don't. It's not something to misconstrue. The question simply was, would you ever transition a 5 to 11-year-old if you feel that there is a reason to? What would the benefits be? If not, say what the benefits wouldn't be.
Okay,
That
that still
that
feels
that's it.
it still feels loaded because it's asking if there was a
Um,
reason
a,
to. I
a
can
much
think of a
a much
reason.
a much more to the question than the hypotheticals we had to deal with last night with space colonies and all this other shit.
Okay.
Because to me, that sounds a lot more loaded than a simple question of
Wait.
kids,
Can you guys
Okay.
five
elaborate?
Alright.
This?
to
Maybe I'm
11.
too old, but what does it mean when you say loaded question?
Okay, so it's a question that is intended. Okay, how to put it like this? So you're asking a question, but the question itself is worded in such a way
Oh my god, Loki.
that any answer given besides a specific answer is wrong.
No,
No,
that's not what we did to Arachno at all. Like I don't
Because
know why I like
because when you ask, because when you add in the modifier to the question, for if there is a reason.
there actually was no modifier. That was a whole straight shot
No,
question.
no,
no,
no, that's
it
part of
was
the question.
no, not what we added nothing to the question. Everything was simple and straight.
No, 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 read the question again.
Gemini,
What
you got this. The one that you just said,
Yeah,
Gemini.
yeah, yeah, read it again.
about it being about if okay, so would you
Uh-huh.
ever feel like transitioning a kid from 5 to
No. That
11?
wasn't how the question was phrased. It was
Yeah, read it wordly, like word for word, verbatim.
Oh my god.
Is it still in the promotion chat?
I don't know why this is still a
Or is
thing.
it wait, is it in the
Because
promotion
I'm
chat?
not satisfied,
no.
that's why.
It's not in the promotion chat, DD. It's not.
Mm.
So,
It's an
okay,
old returning question.
so would you be for transitioning a kid 5 to 11? And if so, what would the benefits be? And if not, again, what would those things be? It's that simple. It's not a loaded question. I
Okay,
gave a very brief answer. of why transitioning a kid, not no hypotheticals to meet a certain narrative that I feel would be answered. I answered the question of why transitioning a kid at 5 to 11 would damage them a lot more than it would help them. Now, kids
So,
now
so
kids
the-
having
wait, ho-
suicidal
wait, hold
thoughts
on,
at
hold on, hold
5.
on, hold on, hold on. So, asking for a reason why you would was never part of the question.
It would, you would just have to answer what benefits there would be. Now, can you answer what benefits there would be?
Which is interesting because the viewer said Arachno never mentioned
Is
any
even
benefit.
that?
No, but can you answer what benefits there would be to transitioning a kid who is 5 to 11 years old?
Well, my question to that is,
Well, that's
would it?
still that
Oh,
doesn't actually change my point because if you're asking what benefits would there be, then you're asking me to, give an answer to that.
Well,
Yes, but it's
that's-
not
but
a loaded question.
but it's not a loaded question. It's just a simple question.
Yeah,
It's a
but
simple
it is no,
question.
it is loaded because if I give
No,
any
it's not.
answer, all right, is
How?
there okay? So if I give any answer as to how it would be beneficial to a child, such as they don't kill themselves,
Yeah, then it would change the question a little bit because then you have to defend your stance on why do you think it would benefit a child to have them transition at 5 to 11 years old?
if it would keep them from killing themselves, that would be a benefit.
Okay, now in what circumstances have a 5 to 11-year-old kid have ever thought about cutting themselves or killing themselves?
Or general mutilation to themselves, as Arachno put it.
Now,
Okay.
those are also very simple questions.
Yes.
doesn't it reduce gender dysphoria though? Possibly.
No, even Europe is starting to see that it has no downside. No, my bad. It has no effect on reducing gender dysphoria and actually causes more harm. So Europe is slowly starting to move away from transitioning.
I'm gonna reference the video one more time.
Okay. No. I just
You
want
have
an answer
video
to
on?
what I just
No,
asked.
there's a video I sent both Gemini and Rin about what the viewer sent me, and they specifically wanted Arachno, Rin, and Gemini to watch it.
Oh, no, I didn't have to watch it. I already know where it was going.
Oh, just to be clear, we all know that I personally, Rin, am not in for transitioning children, right?
Oh, no, I know you are. When you
That's not
asked
my
me the
position.
question. No, I'm saying I know you're not. I'm saying that, like, when you were part of the conversation, you said that, "No, I'm not for that. I think it wouldn't do any good for the children." I know that.
Again, Rin,
So
I think this question was more pointed at Arachno.
Yeah, I
yeah, it
know.
was
That's
more
why I said
pointed at
I'll
her.
take up the sword, and
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should.
that's a
But
you that's a you thing.
But
But no,
okay,
like I do feel
No,
like all right,
it's a bro to a bro opinion.
let's nip this in the bud for a second. Rin,
all
like
right.
that question that was asked during that last podcast, it's like we can say for sure 100%, even 110%, it's not meant to be a loaded question. If you guys regard it as one, that's how you feel, but it's not what it was meant to be. It was supposed to be a straight general question.
All right.
But if you guys still feel that it was a loaded question, then that's on you guys. I can't. I won't be able to change your minds if you thoroughly believe that's what it was aimed towards, but it's not.
I feel Arachno took it as a loaded question because to her,
The viewer said that they
obviously,
feel Arachno was definitely creating her own narrative.
I don't
and
know
I
because okay. So initially for me, it felt like you were asking, well, why did you commit murder? That's what it felt kind
no,
of felt like you were asking. That's what it felt
no,
like.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, we
Like
weren't asking that to her.
I mean, I think we all can agree that there is going to be high dangers when it comes to transitioning. Um, are there statistics and facts whether or not someone had just gender dysphoria, depression, and thoughts of suicide after transitioning?
Of
Sure,
course.
of course, that's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah.
That's actually high
But
in the numbers. We can't dispute that fact. Now, if it comes to before, if a child is suffering through depression, gender dysphoria, and suicidal tendencies at such a young age, which again, I don't know the percentage on that. I only know the accurate
I
percentage.
think there shouldn't really be any, if anything, it's like very minuscule compared to the older ages. I feel like it's when you get older.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to get down at the time when that question was asked, because during that segment and when that question was asked, we were looking at percentages. That's why Arachno gave the 1% in the percentages there when it came to like the extreme cases. Um, I guess that's the way Arachno answered. I don't did Arachno answer any other way? I don't remember.
Does
The
she
answer was specific.
really?
He answered in a hypothetical.
Oh, so okay,
Other
so
than that,
Arachno only answered with a hypothetical.
other than that,
Yeah.
she said that she wasn't for transitioning children, but she said if I had to, it would be in an
Yeah.
extreme case.
And it feels
Mm,
Which
like the fact that she even gave like, oh, a situation in which she would be
that
is
is too.
the loaded part where it's like, oh, no matter what answer she gave on that front, you would find abhorrent.
no, that those were the viewers. We defended her. Even
No, you
all of us
didn't.
defended her.
No,
Yes,
we did
yes, we
actually.
did.
We did defend Arachno.
Okay, I'm not talking about like on the stream. I'm talking about like follow up.
Even
So,
with the follow up, we did.
I don't know. The attacking
I
the likelihood of the hypothetical seems like not a defend. Like that's the problem I have.
so
I,
according
I
to
don't like
Because
the I
let,
don't like
let
I don't like attacking the likelihood of a hypothetical because that defeats the purpose of a hypothetical.
okay, so hypothetically, if what's the hypothetical chance of a meteor hitting Earth right now?
Uh, Fuck it. We'll arbitrarily say 15%.
Okay, there you go. Now, were you attacking my hypothetical?
No, you didn't give a hypothetical.
That yes, I just did.
That's not a hypothetical. You just asked a question. A
I
hypothetical is a scenario. So, all right.
yes,
Like,
that is a scenario.
Want me to okay? You want me to rephrase that scenario?
yes,
In a hypothetical where Dr. Gemini, the scientist, saw an asteroid. We'll call it asteroid Tenene. Um,
Shenane.
yeah, there you go. Asteroid Shenane was 200 miles long, and it is gravitating towards Earth at unknown speeds. And given a chance, would you use nuclear bombs to blow it up?
Yes. See, that's yeah. But my problem is that there was like a lot of arguing about the likelihood of that happening and not just answering the question.
mm,
I mean,
Because when there is to me, when there's a hypothetical, you also have to put real world logic into it.
Not always.
Not always.
No, because in
Not
my
always.
no, because in my do you like
Wait,
what
wait.
situation?
Hang on. Not always. When the other day we were talking about a hypothetical and we were literally going off real world
no,
logic.
we're not going to
We
talk
were
about Death
we,
Stars.
we were not talking about real world logic
Stop. We're not going
all
through
the
that
time with
again.
that
No,
one.
no,
No.
no, no. I'm gonna draw those parallels
Well,
because
yeah, at points we were, but not always.
I mm.
Okay, go ahead, Didi. Go.
No. I was just more just less. I'm actually like looking up. So if we're just talking about strictly for gender dysphoria, right, in regards to the age between 5 to 11, right? Can we assume that's not all of it we're talking about, but that's kind of like the the main reason for gender transition from 5 to 11 by any chance? I
Wait,
just
what?
wanted to see what's the main like what would be the main reason for the gender transition for that age. 5 to
For
11.
that aid?
Yes, for that age.
For
Um,
that age, the parents would want it. There you go.
Wanted, right? Oh,
yeah,
to
well,
want it.
parents will push for this. There are some doctors that will, I don't know why, actually attempt to diagnose a child with gender dysphoria so that they can get them on puberty blockers. I find that crazy.
It's so they can fit the
Mm,
Joneses as it is the social trend at the
I'm looking
time.
at the numbers right now, but this is from like 20. This is just from so this is it's not really what do you call
Up to
accurate in
date.
my opinion.
Follow the Joneses,
It's
so
not
they're saying wrong.
up to date, but it's more of a just of a experiment per se because it's not more. It's like it's not really like a big survey because it's more from an experiment. Anything
Well,
else?
because like we were saying, kids from 5 to 11 usually don't experience gender dysphoria or
Actually, no. On the other,
you.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
Apparently,
the typical kid experiences gender dysphoria then.
from that
They're on
age,
TikTok,
yes,
probably.
apparently, it's a
Five
high
5 to
percentage.
11.
Social
At
media
age, it
does
started at age
over
7,
exaggerate
actually,
mental
apparently.
disorders
Okay,
or
so
disorders.
here's a question for everyone. Is everyone familiar with the term desist
Wait, what?
Dissociative disorder?
Disassociative,
desistance?
disassociative,
No,
desistance.
yes.
No.
No.
Okay, so desistance, when it comes to gender dysphoria, right? So a person who at one point believed that they had gender dysphoria, but grew out of it and no longer experiences the symptom, that is someone who is desist.
Okay.
Of course, everyone who detransitioned is technically a desister.
And Gemini, okay, so from what I'm reading here, okay, so like I said before, I don't know the percentage on, gender dysphoria with kids,
It's
but
a
it
high
actually is a high
percentage.
number.
Yeah, the one that I saw this is from 2020,
Isn't it like
actually.
33% or something?
No, it's
No,
actually
no,
higher. It's
it's
actually
actually near 100%. It's like
I saw
Ooh,
70%
89?
on one study on one experiment from trans women and trans men. They're about the same. It's apparently
by
it's
age
at
7.
that age by age 7, yeah, it's like 73, 78% between the two.
Oh,
So
you're
I'm
looking
sorry.
at the same study I'm looking at.
what's oh yeah, yeah, same here. I was looking at it because I don't know what like last time when we were talking
I'm
about it.
sorry. I don't believe that.
Well, that's what I'm saying before. This is just a study and
This
experiment.
is
So
a
that's
study
why
that took place in
this
Los
is very
Angeles.
close. This is a closed thing. That's why. So it's
It's
not
a
a
study that
big
took place in
study.
Los Angeles on June 16th, 2020.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one I'm looking at right now.
Yeah,
So
who's the professor on that?
this is Professor Maurice Garcia, MD, director
Maurice
of the
Garcia.
Cedars Sinai Transgender Surgery. So he's part of the apparently transgender surgery and health program. That's what he is. So he studies on it. Not only does obviously do the surgery on them,
Okay.
he
Okay,
does it.
so here's an interesting question. Do you guys believe that doctors that push for this are more into it for financial gain?
Financial gain
I
and
would
part
say
of the
yes.
social.
I would say
I would say some,
yes.
but not all. I
Yeah,
say some are true. I would say a number of them are probably like
I would say
the
Probably
believers.
politically motivated to
I would
advance
say
transgenderism.
some are true to the profession, but some definitely use it as a focal point to generate to the quote unquote awareness and to the to get more salary, yes. Which is
but they
why I don't fully believe those numbers.
but the only no. But the thing is that for that's just saying that they experience it during that time, but I believe they probably don't surgically get it done
Okay.
Now,
until later
So
on.
wait. So
Like they,
if a kid if a kid happens to be born a boy
mm-hmm,
and is interested in girly stuff,
mm-hmm.
is that gender dysphoria?
no.
Or if
No.
Or if a girl happens to be interested in guy stuff, is that gender dysphoria?
No,
No,
And what if
no.
they just happen to be 7?
no, it's more to gender dysphoria than to that.
Now, how do they know? How do these doctors know that they have gender dysphoria? Is it a type of machine that's reading their brain waves?
The
Is
Uh,
like
DSM-5
No,
helps
I
reveal this
no, it's
behaviors.
they're going by their history. They're digging into what they can conclude from
what kind of history though?
their own.
Because when you're
the-
7 years old, you only have 7 years old of being
but
Well,
okay,
a
7 years,
so
but they're talking about 7 years and on,
it's
obviously. But
okay.
but they
All
can
right,
deduce that it's just started around that time. So
it's talk therapy.
yeah,
talk
Uh,
therapy.
yeah, asking them questions and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
yes,
what it mostly is.
yeah.
Okay, so what's so wrong with a kid being a kid? Because there's these new terms of situational transitioning and all this other stuff just because a boy likes some girlish things or a girl likes some boyish things. Apparently that's situational transitioning it into them wanting to be more male or the guy wanting to be more female. Apparently that's situational transitioning. There's no more a kid can just be a kid and like
It's all
girly
for the
stuff if
trends.
they want to.
Someone mentioned that we're not mentioning about the femboys, which also do exist. They
But they're
are
being
Okay,
erased
so
slowly.
all right, so can I go back to the desistance argument for a bit because I
yeah,
think that is important to the conversation. So desistance rate among people with gender dysphoria used to be somewhere around the 60% mark, right? But since the switch to the affirmative care model and the introduction of puberty blockers, the desistance rate have dropped to around 20%. So what that means is that there's possible place playroom of about 40% of the people who normally would have detransitioned on their own following through now,
Putting
and
them in
with
blockers
the
makes them
difference
more
being
complacent.
puberty blockers, right? So I think that's the big red flag that a lot of people ignore.
the puberty blockers.
Um, the change in desistance.
Basically, the blockers show that it does increase the
Because it like looking at that, it would it suggests that introducing puberty blockers
uses the resistance.
leads to people following through. No, it leads to against desistance. It leads to people following through with transitions when they otherwise wouldn't need to. So, and then and that will follow into the question: are puberty blockers considered medically transition?
Wait, are you saying our No, I think
I'm
isn't that
asking the
part of.
question. I'm asking the question: are puberty blockers considered part of the medical transitioning process?
Yeah,
Because
I would
puberty
say yes.
blockers were to be started as early as 9-10 years old.
I would say yes.
I would agree with you. I would think so too.
Because at that point you're literally blocking them from getting into puberty. So
And going through a puberty is usually what will cause someone to desist.
yes. Because that at that point is where a woman reaches their womanhood and a man, well, a boy becomes a man, that kind of thing. So if you're blocking that, the boy is still going to have a high voice or something like more feminine features, and the woman is going to just not get any healthy estrogen.
And to go back to the question you asked about, so there is a push, a recent push to push effeminate men and women, that tend to like more boyish things, to push them to saying that they're trans. Like, oh, you're not a tomboy, you're trans. You're not a femboy, you're trans.
Yeah.
That has been a push. There is a YouTuber, Dimitri Martin. He's a femboy. and he has experienced that like firsthand. People pushing him to think that he's trans. He's not. He's just a gay man.
Yeah, which is why I don't believe in the whole situational or whatever social transitioning. I think that it just let a kid be a kid. It's fine.
Yeah, but I don't think like saying the argument "let a kid be a kid" is useful.
I'm
More
assuming the
effective.
reason why they're trying to tell him that he's trans, rather than just telling him that he's a feminine male, is because the existence of a male being feminine and not needing transition does threaten the existence of the pushing forward of transitioning itself.
To an extent, I agree with you too. Yeah.
But going back into it, usually, oh sorry, are we still talking about gender dysphoria?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much the signs, Gemini, to answer your question in regards to that, it's usually when you have a strong desire to be the other gender. So in a way,
But what if it's a boy who just thinks like, "Oh, I want to be like my mother when I grow up."
it depends on what you mean.
That's
But what are you talking about? Her job wise, or are we talking about like just her physical like
You
characteristics,
don't
what she's
know.
wearing and everything? That okay
You
then
don't
okay
know.
yeah,
okay
but we
that's
can figure
why
that
we
out.
wait. That's why we wait and we question it and just like, what do you mean? Or clarify if they can. Like what do you
Yeah.
Well, that's
do? What they like if their kid is old enough to what do you call respond or just like know what they like just like respond back to them just like in a kidlish like way. I was like, I want to be like you with your job and everything, or like I want to be whatever my mom is. Then
okay.
sure, but in
So would you
regards to wearing
say
the clothes of my mom, depending on what she's wearing, that's a different story. So that maybe is a different
how is
question.
that different? How is
Because if
that
you're
different?
well, if she was wearing a dress, would your kid, especially as your son, do you want your son to wear a dress?
I don't
No,
know. They're still a kid at that time.
True, but if it's a sign of like continuing on later, and he decides like it's okay to wear dresses at a certain age,
I don't care. I wouldn't care if I had a son who liked to be, to be wearing dresses or whatever. If
No boy of
they
mine is going to wear a dress.
word.
It's
they
going to be a kilt or nothing else.
it'll be a drag queen if
if
anything by
It'll
that
be a
they
moment.
kilt.
yeah, if they turn into like a crossdresser or whatever, that's fine.
Okay, but
Well, I
if they
don't.
think
Okay, so I
completely,
don't think just because they, a boy that's a child that, dresses up in girls' dresses would become a cross dresser later. It goes along with what you were saying earlier, Gemini. That they're just. I guess they're just being kids. Like they're. I guess they're testing their waters and whatnot.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's how I ultimately feel. I don't think a kid, if they're just putting on a dress or playing with Barbies, that means that they're going to fucking transition later down in life.
Yeah, I
Or
love Barbies.
or
But it may what do you call increase their urge to be the other gender though. That's the thing.
I don't think that's true at all.
No,
It
I don't.
can be.
I
It
have a
can be. As
confession
I
to
say,
make.
it can be a way.
I have a confession to
I
make.
don't think
Oh my
that's true
god,
at
man.
all. I'm sorry.
Oh
Well, I'm
no.
just saying it is. Oh no, it is a. I'm saying it can
Don't
be
worry, we'll
one.
play
That's
the
one
Barbie
thing.
at some time.
It could possibly
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
it as
I
well.
would steal my sister's Barbies to play with them because I didn't have enough action figures.
Okay, but it
Barbie
didn't.
had a video game on
But
PC
my
too.
question is,
Oh,
did it
Barbie
help?
Riding
Did
Club
it?
was the shit.
Oh yeah, and
That's
there's
what
the
I'm
Molly
saying.
World.
I'm saying it may affect you to transition possibly as one. I'm saying
I knew you got down with
because
the Barbie.
especially because if you are not given that, you may get along that and everything. But you see, if anything, if you had a sister that has those Barbies or anything that you wanted, you may want to be possibly be the other. That's like in my opinion the
Damn,
main
I must be a
thing.
Guarantee. Playing
pyromaniac.
with
Then.
Barbie girls doesn't make you
I used to
any
light
less
I
Barbie dolls
masculine.
on fire, and
Damn.
I thought it was cool.
Look at me, I'm a very masculine
But
male.
Marks
I
I'm
and
a
don't
baseball player.
DJ did increase you to being the other gender
Your
though, DJ.
dollhouses, the little Play-Doh things you had, those
DJ did
small little
increase your
characters.
way for to be the other gender though.
No, I maybe I'm a pyromaniac instead.
Yeah,
There you
I don't
go.
know which one's
That's what I'm saying.
worse.
If it increases your desire and it like for some odd reason,
Wait.
when you look at being a girl and well, when you look at yourself too, if you're a guy, it's like why am I not a girl?
okay.
Why am I this and everything? When you
Wait.
feel that
DJ,
kind of way.
you said you were the one that were setting Barbies on fire as a kid?
Well, when I was a little
Whoa.
boy, I used to set Barbie dolls on fire. I don't know why.
Do
Well,
you
at least he's
hate
not doing it
women?
to cats.
I wanted to play with fire,
He
so
hates
I just
women.
threw a Barbie doll into like a bunch of logs and put oil on it and lit it on fire.
Man, your parents let you play with fire.
I
The
know.
fire is the one thing that
No,
reminds you you're
They
more
should-
alive when you touch
Well,
it.
I worked in the kitchen, so I freaking worked with fire. Trust me.
No, but they didn't want me to play with fire. I just happened to get one of those lighter things and go.
We couldn't
there's-
afford fire.
We couldn't afford
We couldn't afford fire. Where the fuck were you living?
Fire was
So-
too expensive.
I,
So
They'll accept
okay.
food stamps.
So the thing I'm gonna say is that even if a boy or someone, kid wise, toddler, whatever, and same thing goes for the other gender or genders. Thank you, Native Americans. Because apparently to Native Americans, there's 9 genders that we have.
They're
India
all
has like a
good
3
shit.
gender system, I believe.
I'm talking about Native Americans. But anyway, if you're playing with Barbies or if you play female video games or games aimed at females or anything, and you're just a kid at that point, uh, I don't think it makes you want to be the other gender. I think it may
Well,
I,
okay.
feminize
I
you.
agree with you.
Yes.
I think
Okay.
it
I just
may
want to I just want to continue on what that point.
feminize you
Sorry.
a little bit. I think it may feminize you a little bit or show insight into what females might like at that time, but that's
So
about it.
I
Same
want
thing
to
with
add on. So okay, I want to make it clear now. I just want to add on that if you feel dislike in after of your own self of your own gender essentially, and you want to only play with the other side, if it will increase on later on in your life at that age to 5 to 11, I definitely do not agree upon that definitely to for the transition of a kid to of that age without a doubt. That's why usually it just feels that way is what I'm saying. It begins there. That's what it
I don't
implies.
I
That's
don't think
on.
that at all.
Well, the numbers and
If
statistics says
you're
so. That's when they feel it. That's when
if
they implied
you're
it.
if you're young enough and you see that these are toys, that's it, they're toys.
Well, they
Like
don't know any better though. That's the thing. Oh, obviously they don't know any better.
how
They're
do,
young at that time.
how don't they know any better? They go up to their parent and say, "Hey, I want this."
Yeah, because you're a kid, you're
Well,
still
if they have
cognitive.
a
Like I was a very cognitive
But
Okay,
if
I'm
they
child.
gonna
have
out myself here for a second. I used to think up until like I was like 14 years old that my toys were alive when I'm not around like Toy Story.
I was probably like 8 or 9 and fucking playing Barbie on my Game Boy Advance. Like I'm fine.
Okay,
yeah,
but
you
I'm just
guys had
saying. But do you
normal
have a
childhood.
hatred? Do you have a hatred of your gender though?
No.
Then you don't have gender dysphoria. That's it. That's all I'm applying afterward. That's what I'm saying. We continue.
Gender dysphoria doesn't mean that you have a hatred towards your gender. It
It,
means that
It's
and
you
but you
feel
want to, but
extreme
also you
discomfort.
implying, yeah, but you also implying that you want to be the other gender as well.
Yes.
So that's
yes,
what it is.
but it's not a hatred towards your own gender.
But it's include. That's
It's
what I'm saying. That's
meaning
part of it. That's half of it. The other half is wanting to be the other gender
no.
too. Yeah, yes, it is. That's what
No,
gender dysphoria is.
no, hatred is not having it's not having a hatred towards your own gender. It's you feeling that you were born in the wrong body.
Should I send it to you?
Wait, okay, so I have a little bit of a question. So in the 90s, right? I can say for sure we all
Oh
lived
fuck
through them.
yeah. Good
Okay,
old days. Recess.
was this topic of gender dysphoria abundant back then in the 90s?
Abundant? No.
No, definitely not.
So now I know this might spark controversy now. Like, when did a lot of these gender dysphoria questions like pop up? Like, when did this whole thing start?
When did it start?
Like,
The
when it really
technology to
start
do
booming?
it.
Like, when did it
Um,
really start booming?
It was that
Okay.
one scientist who basically forced his son to dress like a
Oh,
girl.
I know
and
I know you're talking about, yeah. But that was in the 70s or 80s, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It basically caused a lot of mental
When
issues
were
for
we
the
able
child
to
growing
do
up.
it? Like physically, like when we were able to do it, like it's like technology wise,
I don't know. Probably has to do
For
with
a long
Obama.
while.
for
I
a long
mean,
while, right?
yeah,
There were
medical
trans people in the 80s,
yeah,
so
Okay.
medically, yeah, it's been
Mm.
around for a while.
I
It's
just
just
Okay.
it's
I just want to respond to Shinoto about Metroid, the original Metroid. I actually discovered Samus was a girl in Smash Brothers when you electrocuted Samus with Pikachu.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was literally back in Melee, right? It was back in Melee.
But that doesn't
Yeah.
have anything to do with
No, that's in
transitioning
Smash
because
One.
Or was
Samus
that in Brawl?
canonically has always been a
No,
girl.
not in Brawl. This
Just
is in
was never
Smash
known
One.
as.
Smash 64. Oh,
wait,
okay.
Samus was in the original Smash?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
didn't know about the Zero
Yeah.
Suit one that was in the original Smash. I did not know about that one.
they also in one of the Metroid Prime games, depending on how fast you beat it, there's like having Zero Suit Samus and her in a bikini and all this other shit. So
Right. Yeah, that's when it really confirmed that Samus was, a girl because they didn't really talk about Samus's gender at the time.
Wait,
It
but I
was
thought it was confirmed at the end of Metroid 2.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was either Metroid. It might have been the third one where they, how
It was the
fast you
second,
beat
I
it.
believe.
It's
No.
one of the it's one of the Super Nintendo Metroid games.
No. Rin is right with that. It is the one in Super Nintendo. I forgot which one it was though, but it was
I
the
feel
one.
like it was Metroid 2.
It might be actually. It might
Well,
be.
Super Metroid, that's what it
Uh,
was. Yeah.
Well, I know someone that does know it. Loki. Is it Metroid 2 that they discovered Samus is a girl?
What does he
Or it was
say?
revealed.
It's
Because
whichever one.
the way I found out was through like Smash 64. I always assumed that Samus was a guy for some reason.
It's whichever one that
It's
had.
revealed at the end of the first game, is what Loki
Oh, the
said.
end of the first game. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because I know that they had one where whichever how fast you beat it, they.
Oh, that's
give
right.
you-
Because Samus took off her helmet
arm,
and then
yeah.
she had like long blonde hair. Right, of course.
Yeah, they also give you a digital poster of Samus with nothing but a bikini on. In one of them. depending
Let's
on
not
how
talk
fast
too
you
much
beat it.
about this part because it's actually another.
It's probably the company
yep,
that
yep,
doesn't
yep.
like people talking
It's
about
actually
things.
going to be on another podcast episode.
Yep.
But yeah, so going back to what we were talking about with the whole gender dysphoria, Didi, were you saying that that hatred of their own gender is part of gender dysphoria?
Along with being possibly wanting to be another one. It's more like not a hatred. I'm sorry. It's more of a dislike of their self, as like image wise, and especially in their own
Yeah, it
body and
tracks.
their gender.
And Gemini, you disagree with that?
I disagreed with having a hatred of your own gender.
Well, I mean dislike of your own gender and your own body.
I think what Didi is trying to say, they don't feel like they're in their right, gender.
Well, no,
And-
that's what I was. That's what I was basically trying to say. What gender dysphoria is that you feel like you're in the wrong body.
Yeah,
Right,
and
but
you want
wouldn't
it
you
and
also
wanting to
have
be
like
and
but
wanting to be another
don't you
gender.
have like a dislike for your current gender, which is why the gender dysphoria is more apparent?
That's why it's harmful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. And that's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone add more stuff? No. All right.
I just
So
want to be done with this conversation already.
we have a little bit of a Q&A. It's not actually a lot of questions for this episode, actually, so it's a little surprising.
Mm.
Not a lot of questions.
Pretty mid. The episode was pretty mid.
I hope there are none given to me this time. Okay.
There's actually a question for Rin.
Yes.
Yay.
To Rin. So you don't believe that government should and privatize own hospitals? Question mark.
No, I don't think they should.
And why so?
Because I don't think the government can properly manage managing our hospitals. Okay, sorry. Where was I saying? So yeah, I do not believe that the U.S. government is capable of properly managing top-down in a centralized way, hospitals and public care.
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, viewer. Loki, what is your question?
Okay, I don't like math.
No. Okay.
We'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about another
We'll talk
topic.
about that later on.
We'll talk about that in another topic, Loki.
This is for Falcon and Gemini.
Thank God it's not me.
Um, why do you think that abortion should be illegal?
It should be legal for my enemies and those I dislike.
Oh my God! All right, Gemini, do you want to kick in?
Said it legal or illegal?
They said illegal.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that should be illegal. I said that it should be illegal to an extent and not be used as a contraceptive.
Mhm.
But that I mean, as far as like mistakes or where you're not really trying to have a baby and where you know you just kind of happens, abortion's okay there, and abortion's okay if you get raped and have a really really traumatic experience where you don't want to have that child.
I forgot. Yeah, I could agree upon that one.
This is more of a comment towards Rin. Urgent care and ER are two different things, you dummy.
I know that.
Oh my
I,
God.
I thought
all right, let
I
me.
said
I'm pretty
Wow,
sure Rin
Loki.
already said it was different than both. He clarified it many times. Didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think
Yeah.
the confusion he was having earlier was more about urgent care.
I think
And
urgent
Yeah.
care and clinics. I think that's
Yeah.
what they were
Yeah,
referring
like
to.
because there's urgent care, the actual brand business. You go to the building, it says urgent care on the building, but there's
Mhm.
other places like that that aren't called urgent care, and we were
No.
using the same word for both of them, and it was confusing.
Yeah, there's the naming and the actual role.
Right. And now mind you, there's named urgent cares like
Mhm.
for example, Carbon Health or let's say I don't know what the ones are called in fucking New Jersey anymore, but there's ones that are simply just called urgent care.
City MD.
City MD, there you go. That's an urgent care.
I'm sorry to hear that, Loki.
Oh wow. Okay, so this is for Rin and Gemini and Falcon.
Thank God it's not me.
Why do you guys not believe in free healthcare system?
Because
I,
it's impractical. It puts a lot of burden on the state when it comes to like, are we able to fund every citizen in all their emergency situations? You're not gonna be
It
able to
just,
fund that.
well, if I
uh,
may imply after you guys are done, I'll make my talk if I can speak.
It's not that I don't believe in the idea. I like the idea, and it'd be in a perfect world, it'd be great to have. I think we should have it in a perfect world. I just don't believe that,
Alas.
as is right now, we could implement it in a way that doesn't have some kind of horrible downside.
It's a
yeah,
sustainability issue.
I agree with that. I feel like our
Um,
populace right now is too much that we definitely have to downsize our populace somehow. So good job with that coronavirus. And
Okay, we got an
uh,
extremist question on board. I don't know whether or not I should
On the
even.
bright side, certain group of
is it for
people are
me?
self-murking themselves and
No, it's
No,
realizing
for
their children.
the entire podcast, but I'm not.
oh,
I don't think I'm going to entertain that question. That's a little too much.
But
I'm
what I was
curious.
gonna say is that yeah, right now it's just not sustainable, and there's too many people in general that would be filling up hospitals and everything just because they know that they would have free healthcare, and
Exactly.
we
Yeah, because
wouldn't be able to get to anybody
You have
in
to
a
remember.
timely fashion.
Loki asked if it's impractical. How are places like Canada doing free healthcare?
Painfully.
Well,
You
they're
look at the
definitely
state of
not getting
Canada.
to everybody.
well, Canada, one for one, has a much smaller population than we do.
Yeah, and
How many people there are in
also
Canada?
with they're also definitely not getting to anybody, like everybody. I mean,
And also, you guys see the state of Canada of what happened when you give free healthcare too.
Okay,
What's the
Canada has
results?
a population of approximately 38 million. The
But
U.S. has about almost 10 times that
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it
million
is.
in the
Yeah.
U.S.
all right. Here it is. This is to Gemini. You got a hater. Uh, um, Abortion should be only a woman's choice and be legal all the time. Men should have no say in whether or not we should have an abortion or not. Women's rights.
I'm happy these people prevent
okay,
themselves from having more.
that's fine. I If you were here earlier, I did say that I'm not a woman. I don't have that choice with my body, but obviously you do. So, if you want to use it as a contraceptive, go ahead. But because your body, your choice. I am pro-choice, obviously, but I still feel the way I do, and you're allowed to still feel the way that you do. So, you
I
know,
will. I will. May I say something in
Yeah, go
regards to
ahead.
that? So I will. Okay, so I'll just keep it. But the thing is, okay, so yeah, in regard that you should not be using that as a way for just escape your thing. It was your choice to go. Like I said before, you can come at me, God, honestly, in that situation. But this is the truth, and if it hurts, I'm sorry. But this is my thought on it. In this situation, you should have been careful before, as you'd know what would happen possibly. You have to think beforehand.
we're gonna have a "We Was Queens" movement. I mean,
You don't need to be a woman to have a say in it. As long as you're
It,
capable
it,
of being logical and understanding infanticide is infanticide.
it's nothing of the fancy. No. It's just more. It's just like you just gotta think before you do it. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Loki says, in continuation to what he was saying about Canada, and we have more hospitals? Question mark. And then his comment was, "Oh, I have to remember America sucks and I can't get itself out of debt."
I don't understand the
The
I
American
question.
think
debt thing is intentional. It's a way to inflate the economy and ensure that there's income constantly flowing. I think there was a book written about it, how debt is good for a country, and if a country doesn't have debt, that's bad, as it's a sign of decline. But debt is not a part of any social mistake or economic mistakes. It's all planned out.
what?
Let's forget,
Capitalism
I'm actually
pretty
pretty smart. I'm just not, buying the Kool-Aid that most people are. So now that no,
I'm
just
surprised that
you're
question.
just
different as I don't take
you're
in
just
the Kool-Aid that
you're
is
just
common culture.
misguided.
Gemini.
You're just misguided.
Gemini, I just
I'm
want
not
to say something. I'm
misguided. I just
surprised that question
fall for the
was not to
psyops.
me than you because I felt a little bit more strongly on that one, in my opinion. Yeah, the from the abortion one, it's just like you have to think before you do it, man. That's it. Just
Yeah,
have
no,
to prepare it.
I'm totally with.
A viewer says that everyone should always cater to pronoun rules, and we should create a rule where anyone that misgenders us should be branded as a criminal.
Well, I
No,
would
I
just
do
have
not
to
Clearly, some
agree.
say,
people haven't read 1984,
I
but
would
I can see
say
how they would come to that
just ask
conclusion if they have
nicely and
a
we'll do it nicely.
totalitarian mindset.
That's it. Just be
Okay,
nice about it.
wait, hold on, guys. Speak one at a time. Uh,
Okay.
all right. So, Falcon, say that again.
It sounds like some people haven't read 1984 or understand the concept of what the book is talking about. So I would assume these people are wealthy and probably think socialism and Marxism is pretty lit and are possible totalitarian.
Okay, so here's what I want to say about that. Wherever you live, if it's America or not, uh, I would hope that you're glad that people, you know, call you by your pronoun. And if people don't call you by your pronoun, I would genuinely be afraid of how you would respond because of the way that you think if people don't call someone by their proper pronoun because of, let's say, a mistake, because they don't know what your pronoun is, you think they should be branded a criminal.
Same about the
That
whole
to me,
demanding
that's
that you.
Continue.
to me, that's a little radical, is all. That's a little extreme
But that is the
for
common
my
social view that
tastes.
is held amongst the masses, though. So they're not far off from what is simple people, minded people thinking.
Loki says, I don't know how debt is good and planned unless they like raising inflation and slowing down growing businesses among all the other bad things that come with the debt America has accumulated.
Is
Welcome
the
to America, Loki.
Okay, let's respond one at a time. Whoever has the mic, go ahead. Falcon, go ahead.
Mhm.
Okay,
Someone go.
Gemini, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just
No, I'm just saying, someone go.
Yeah, no, and I'm calling upon you to go. Go ahead, and you can you can
Yeah.
answer that.
About debt? Fuck no. I can't tell you how debt is good or bad. I just look at the inflation rise and go down and just say, fuck, this is more expensive than last time.
I
Why can't it
think I think Loki was more or less retorting to what Falcon was saying.
yeah, and to what Ren was saying. So yeah, that's why I was just like, someone speak. But yeah, I'm just an average guy who is like pissed when inflation goes up and then happy when it goes down. So
When I recall, it has to do the same with debt causing the economy to move forward.
We also have to remember, and this is for Loki. I guess I'll answer it in a way that I think I can answer it. Debt is never good, and is our debt always growing? Yes. There's not one thing I can blame or point fingers at because there is a multitude of things that is causing debt, and one of the things that is in a high rise is military spending, and of course our new space force, especially doing a lot of different changes within the military branches where now the space force now has control over the things that the air force used to have control over, which is the space satellites that we have, and navigation
well,
with satellites and whatnot.
wait.
Also, uh yeah, raising inflation and that has more to do. I would say this would have to do a lot with oil, because oil does contribute to inflation, especially if Saudi Arabia one day decides to say, "Hey, America, you know that oil you've been buying from us? Yeah, we're gonna sell to Russia instead. So good luck with that." And then
Or
we would have to
or if
open
one
up our own
day,
oil rigs in hopes that inflation would slow down. But it's always a rising riser, or sometimes it slowly goes down. It really just depends on all that. And debt, the American debt is something hard to solve because like there's many forms of debt. I mean, there's also student debt that is still
Mm,
unsolved even till today. A lot of students that did go to college came in there in hopes to get obviously get their degree and whatnot, but in return they get debt if they don't get the job. So again, there's a lot of causes
We're
Uh,
also in we're also in trillions of debt
Oh yeah, of course.
government wise.
And
So
yeah, in regards to that actually, and that I think that's pretty much due to those stimulus checks, right, from COVID. That was
I mean,
part of
what's
that.
no,
What would
it's
it
not
be?
primarily the stimulus check. The stimulus check could have been funded easily.
yeah,
It's everything else that was in the bill. Only a small percentage of what was used for the funding actually went to stimulus.
Okay.
Yeah, it
we've
was
been
a bunch of things
It's
packaged in with
basically
that.
the wrong party was in control
Yeah.
at the wrong
It's
time.
part of a spending package, and stimulus was a part of it.
right.
yeah,
And now
the
that's something
trillion
that the Senate all voted for.
the trillions of debt we have has just been carried over with president by president by president. So it's nothing new. It's
Yeah.
just
It's always been
the
carried over.
inflation.
Well, some presidents are better at managing the economy than other presidents. Some cause great economic times, others bad economic times.
I know a
Primarily
lot of
based on
people
policy.
will possibly like dislike what I say here, but if I were to
I
say
know what you're
one
talking
thing
about.
that if I were to say a
I know what
thing
you're talking
that
about.
Trump did good, he actually
Oh,
did
the
that.
masses who drink inside of the Kool-Aid as the psyops will just have a heyday for that
Okay,
one.
hold on.
Oh, fucking.
Okay, so what I was saying with Trump, like the one thing that he did good is that he did manage the American economy pretty well.
Oh,
Now,
without a doubt.
am I saying he's a good guy, good president, whatnot? Absolutely not. There are a lot of things I do disagree with what Trump did.
His
There's some
representation was
things that
bad.
I do agree with. Like,
But the man is good at his job.
yes,
Yeah, he did.
at the end of the day, he is good with what he did.
And the
Yeah,
main thing that
let's
he did
let's
was he supplied more jobs. That's what he
Right.
did,
okay.
and that's what we needed.
No,
Saved New York City from complete destruction.
So
something that
literally,
I
yeah.
ask something I
Mm,
ask for the audience
mm.
to do. Please don't put all your guns at Ukami now. Don't.
Come
Also, he's
Well,
the
on.
bad guy.
I mean, I just said it in itself. So, like, do I agree with everything Trump, said and did? No, I don't. There's a lot of things that
No.
we all can agree that what things that he said is pretty,
And there's
pretty
some of
crazy.
his actions are not approved of either, so it's not
Right.
all.
Yeah.
And I'm not condoning a lot of things he's said.
I don't know.
You know,
TJ, do you hear me?
yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, what's
Okay,
up?
all right.
I'm
I
just
was
saying, like, don't point all your guns at him because it's just a generalized statement, and I know how some people can be with just hearing one thing and just being like, oh, no, 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 no. So, like, yeah,
True, most
just
people are two-dimensional in thought.
Wait, was I
all
the only one that couldn't hear Ren?
probably.
No, we didn't hear Rin at all. To be
yeah,
honest.
we couldn't hear him for a while.
Damn. Okay.
You were
Anyway,
talking?
yeah.
I usually ignore it.
Oh my goddamn. Goddamn.
All right,
Do we have a second
I was
Falcon here
going
now?
to say that it's a complicated issue that requires a high understanding of how the relationship between the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve.
Oh yeah, the Federal Reserve, where all that money is. Mm-mm-mm.
What is even in the Federal Reserve at this point?
Well, the Federal Reserve. All right. So, in its simplest terms, to understand it, okay. So, let's just say Congress passes a spending bill, right? They'll issue effectively what is effectively like a bond, right? And the Federal Reserve has the option to take that bond and it will print the money or generate the money to fulfill the bond.
Okay.
Sorry. You okay?
So pretty
Anything else?
much the Federal Reserve. Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
could leave it
yeah,
off for a
go.
moment.
Okay. So basically the Federal Reserve manages the circulation of money and the US Treasury Department effectively manages the government's account.
Mhm.
So it's a relationship between the two of them yeah.
And then they copyright more money and say that it's they make more money, they make more paper money and say, "Oh yeah, this is our currency." And that's basically how they get their money, but
Not
we
necessarily.
can't do
Because
Well, money is
only the
recyclable.
treasury can mint coin.
Was the
Well,
value
yeah,
of the
that
dollar decreased during? Hey,
my
Yeah,
money
it's
but
complicated. Yeah,
it's a
it's
money is
complicated.
recyclable, so
Yeah, but was the value of the dollar lower during Trump's time though?
The dollar had more weight during his
Yeah,
time.
actually,
It,
so
it did.
so there you go. That
It
that gives you
actually
right
went
there.
up. It
There you
actually went
go.
up, and now during Biden's
See.
time, it can actually have no value within 50, maybe 40 something days. So
What's funny is that some people think policies have no effect on the economy, which is highly comical.
Why would they? That's I don't know. They need to pay attention more to.
and Loki, to your question, can we abolish pennies? No, we can't abolish pennies because it has Abraham Lincoln on it.
I
damn it.
don't give a shit who's on it. I'm tired of pennies.
You don't like Abe?
Well,
Honest Abe?
No,
The
it's
founder
not that
of
I
the
don't like
Republican Party?
Abe. It's that I don't like pennies.
I love Abe.
I'm tired of fucking pennies. They're
All
just
right,
1
so-
cent. Let's just be like Canada already.
All right, so
I want bag milk and no pennies.
this will be the conclusion to
Ew,
our
milk in a
episode
bag.
6. Hopefully you guys like our podcast. I
I
don't think
really don't want to have an
I
episode where we
hated
talk
it.
about economics. I do
Okay.
not like economics.
You know what's funny?
I
that's a
don't know shit
long
about
topic, then, so I understand.
I'm not talking
Oh,
about
All right,
economics.
no, I can't say that. on the
Complex,
podcast.
yellow
it's
We'll
a
wait till
complex topic, and I'm gonna have to actually do some brushing up on my economics.
I'm gonna brush up on you.
All I know is that socialism bad, capitalism best we have.
But
America
all right,
bad.
so
Hooah.
this has been
Be
Hoshido
that
Eternals podcast episode 6. This is Okami, Goku, Rin, Loki, who just joined. I'm sorry,
Loki.
Falcon, DD, and Gemini.
Yep.
If you guys are wondering, yes, we're having 2 other podcasts soon. Another 2. One
Another
is
one.
scheduled for Friday. One is scheduled for Thursday. Sorry, not Friday. Thursday on May 25th. It's going to be at 6:15 p.m. PST. So for anyone wanting to continue watching,
Wait, what day? Wait, what day?
Thursday.
Thursday.
So that is the 25th, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh.
Thursday, May 25th.
Rip Rin.
Well, Rin can't make that.
I get off work at 6.
Oh, wait, no, you may actually be able to make it then.
You
I
can
mean,
be a
I'll
little
be
bit late. There's
I know,
nothing.
I'll be a little-
That's fine. You're gonna miss just a little bit of it.
Man, you're gonna ruin my whole routine. I go to Blaze Pizza or Michelino's, give me that margarita.
Oh
delicious.
my god.
Wait. You said you get home at 6. It's 6:15.
No, I get off of work at 6.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Oh, you said specific.
Yeah.
Inferior time zone. Oh yeah, I'm fine.
True.
yes.
True.
The other
Okami.
podcast is going to be on Tuesday, actually.
Which Tuesday?
May 23rd.
Oh, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
I might skip that one anyway.
Okami.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it.
Wait a
Alright,
minute.
so- wait. Before anything. All right. So this has been our episode 6. We're ending now. Thank you all for joining, all the viewers, all the, I guess, radical viewers that are here. And once again, please stop attacking Gemini.
Yeah, please.
No.
I'll
don't.
give you $5 if you hate me more.
Oh my god! All right,
I'll
There
give you
you go.
$10.
Damn.
we're ending it here on 3, 2, 1. Thank you.